Going on, Swiper Gang? Welcome back to another episode. I'm SwipaCam. Welcome to my channel. I just got done watching the Denver Nuggets playing against the Memphis Grizzlies on March 12, 2021. And the Denver Nuggets pull the late game clutch victory against the Memphis Grizzlies, 103-102. And boy, I tell you, Nikola Jokic, Nikola Takeover Jokic, Nikola Big Honey Jokic, Nikola Joker Jokic, Nikola I'm about to put you to sleep Jokic, Nikola MVP Jokic, whatever you want to call him, just put R-E-S-P-E-C-K, put some respect on his name. That man is a bad man. Now, I know Stephen A. Smith said he would put Kyrie Irving ahead of Nikola Jokic on the MVP discussion today on First Take. But you know what? We actually watch basketball. I love Stephen A. Smith. That's my guy. He does this job better than almost anybody there is. But he be saying some crazy stuff sometimes. Kyrie Irving, anyway. Nikola Jokic tonight. First game back from the All-Star break. First game back from being an All-Star starter for the first time of many times in his career. Nikola Jokic tonight, 28 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, 13 of 22 from the field, which is, again, another decent shooting game, just above 50%. And that's not really all that good for Jokic, just above 50%, 1 or 2 from the three-point line. He was a -3 somehow, but I couldn't tell. Jokic, man, he hit a clutch three-pointer. Will Barton hit a clutch three-pointer. Michael Porter Jr. hit a clutch three-pointer to close the game out. Man, and Jokic had the game-winning play, the defensive play. He had the game-winning defensive play against Ja Morant. Ja Morant drove to the basket, tried to get an and-one call. Jokic went straight up, and even when he did bring his arm down, he did not bring it across his body. He brought it out and away just to distract Ja. Missed the shot, got the rebound, man. Jokic tonight with 15 rebounds. Looking good. Also, again, I know this is a Nuggets channel, but I want to go ahead and just bring it up. Joel Embiid, he hyperextended his knee today against the Washington Wizards, so let's pray for his health. Let's pray that he gets healthy soon. You never want to see that, especially somebody having a masterful season. I know the Denver Nuggets community, the Jokic community, we are obviously very pro Jokic, but again, then you got the Philadelphia community, the Sixers community, the Embiid community, Cameroon, just like with Serbia, he has a lot of people pulling for him and really making his MVP case as well. And he's having, to me, the second best season of anybody in the NBA right now. And so we don't want him to go down. He's dealt with a lot of injuries as it is, let alone, just a little nicks and knacks, but even the serious stuff that caused him to have to, take the first 2 years of his career going really slow. So we hope he heals up really soon because we want to continue to see him play really well. So anyway, tonight, they squeaked the win out. They squeaked their 5th straight win out. 6 of the last 7. You know what the great news about tonight is? The great news about tonight is that they are now a half a game above the Trailblazers, and they are firmly in the 5th seed and push them 2 games behind the Clippers. And I think that they're 2 games behind the Clippers and they're 2 games behind the Lakers right now. And they're 3.5 games behind the Suns. Y'all, I think that the Nuggets can go on a run. I think they have the pieces. They're getting healthy. And again, y'all, we know how this works. I know y'all want to talk about it. Jamal Murray had his worst night of the season. Again, the last 12 straight games, Jamal Murray had 22 straight points. He was averaging like 29.5 points the last 12, like something crazy. Shooting crazy, like 40+% from the three-point line. Almost 45, 50+% from the field, 90-something% from the free throw line, but he just did not have it tonight. Jamal Murray tonight was 1 of 14, even worse than his game against the Portland Trailblazers in Game 7 in the 2018-19 NBA playoffs. In Game 7 with Jamal Murray was like a 4 of 17, I believe. Tonight he was 1 of 14 for 3 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. And Jamal Murray is still a +9, so it also goes to show you that Jamal Murray has reached a certain point now in his career where even if he has an off night, the defense has to guard him. Dillon Brooks did a good job on him tonight. Again, I think, Murray, the way Murray works, Murray has already gone off against Kawhi Leonard for 40, Paul George for 40, and also Patrick Beverley for 40. So it's not about the defender. A couple years ago when he had 48 points against the Boston Celtics in Denver, again, that was against Marcus Smart. Jaylen Brown was there, Tatum was there, Irving was there. So, again, it's not about the defender as much as it is that sometimes he's just in his head. And really, when he needs to get more layups, when he needs to get more free throws, sometimes he still has not yet got to that point where he's executing that yet. And he was 1 of 5 from the three-point line tonight. But, again, the way I am with Jamal Murray, you can let me know in the comment section what you think. Jamal Murray, I don't care if he's hot. I don't care if he's cold. He needs to shoot the ball. Whatever he has to do, he needs to shoot the ball. Keep shooting. Keep shooting. Because that's how Jamal Murray, that's how he gets out of his funk. Because if he stops shooting, then he takes not just himself out of the game, but he changes the complexion of the Denver Nuggets. Because Jokic needs another player that is coming alongside as at least the number 2, if not the number 1. And tonight, the number 2 was Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. tonight, 35 minutes, 21 points, 9 rebounds, 0 assists, 8 of 13 from the field, 2 of 4 from the three-point line, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He was also a +9. Michael Porter Jr. has everything he needs. He has everything he needs to be a superstar. Michael Porter Jr. has everything that he needs to be a superstar. Now, when that happens, don't know. Maybe 2-3 years from now, but Michael Porter Jr. looks special. He looks really special. Tonight, he had a great weak side block against Valanciunas tonight. Great weak side blocks against Valanciunas tonight. Michael Porter Jr. was making good defensive rotations. He had a time where he bit on a pump fake from John Morant, where it basically looked like John Morant had put 2 hands on the ball, so he jumped. But really, he did not have a bunch of lapses tonight. Like, again, he was a +9 tonight. He hit a clutch three-pointer in the corner, kind of like the Dallas Mavericks three-pointer he hit earlier this year when he was in Dallas. Michael Porter Jr., man, he looks every bit like a superstar. He looks every bit like somebody who's going to be a top 10 player. The dude's 6'10". He's thriving at the power forward position. It was a little clunky tonight, and we'll go over that a little bit. But Michael Porter Jr., man, he deserves a shout-out. He deserves a shout-out. He's played well. He's been showing up the last few games. He's been taking care of business, doing what he needs to do. Michael Porter Jr. has been showing up and playing really well. He has. So let's get that man his due. He's doing what he needs to do. He's taking care of business. The team can trust him. Mike Malone is trusting him more. There was even a point tonight, though. There was even a point tonight where Mike Malone had taken out Michael Porter Jr., Nikola Jokic, and Jamal Murray. And I was just like, ooh. And it was only one possession, but it was a terrible possession. So really, if we have the luxury of having all 3 of them, one of them needs to be in the game at all time. By the way, Facu Campazzo came back tonight. My Argentinian listeners and subscribers, I'm not sure if you saw this, but Facu Campazzo came back, played really well. He didn't shoot great tonight. 3 of 7 and 2 of 6. But he was a -12, but he was 8 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds. Facu had some crazy steals tonight. Facu was pressuring the ball all game, forced a turnover, then got a jump ball Valanciunas as well, forced a turnover on the guards with the Memphis Grizzlies. He just was everywhere. Even on the Grizzlies broadcast, because the game was on NBA TV, even the Grizzlies broadcast was just saying, man, he's pesky. He's like a gnat. He's everywhere. And they meant it in a compliment. Like, a gnat's little, you can't really stop. You swatting at it, you can't get it away from you. It's always in your face, and that's what Facu did tonight. But let's give a shout out to Monte Morris, man. Monte Morris was a +11 tonight, and I'm going to get to another player tonight. But Monte Morris, 32 minutes, 6 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, and only 1 turnover, 2 of 8 from the field, 0 of 3 from the three-point line. But he managed the game pretty well. He played solid point guard today, managed the game pretty well, took care of business, did what he needed to do. But let's get to Will Barton. Early on, Will Barton had started the game with a three-pointer, but then in the first quarter, Will Barton, because of the way the offense was looking, you could tell they were just getting back from break, all-star break. So the offense wasn't as clean. They only had 26 points in the first quarter. They're averaging like 31 points in the first quarter. So Will Barton had 21 points tonight, 1 rebound and 4 assists. He was 8 of 14 from the field, 5 of 10 from the three-point line. And he was a team high tonight, a team high +15. A team high +15. I know y'all don't like Will Barton. I know a bunch of y'all Bunch of y'all, by the way, follow me on Twitter. Go to SwipaCam on Twitter. You can interact with me all the time on my Twitter. I'm always posting on there about something having to do with Denver Nuggets or basketball, usually Jokic or something like that, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. So follow me, SwipaCam on Twitter. But I even said on my Twitter, I said, man, Will Barton is shooting a lot in the first quarter. Shooting a lot. But he turned it up. He turned it up, man, and he hit some clutch shots. Clutch shots today. Hey, you got to give people their respect. Give them their respect. Will Barton, man, played well. If Will Barton is healthy, if his head is in the game, if he's not dealing with like a family tragedy or whatever, Will Barton is solid, man. I think Will Barton in the 4-game win streak was averaging 15 points per game. I think the broadcast said he had 21 tonight. One of his best games of the season tonight. Will Barton played really well. So Paul Millsap came back today. Paul Millsap, 11 points, 7 rebounds. So 4 of 7 from the field, 1 of 3 from the three-point line, 2 of 2 from the free throw line with 2 blocks. Paul Millsap, he was a minus 11, but I think that's more so with the lineup than anything else. Paul Millsap, except when Jokic, by the way, y'all, if you didn't watch the game, Jokic, he went down at some point in the game. I believe on Valanciunas late, Kyle Anderson, he stepped on his ankle. And he rolled his ankle just slightly, though, but enough where he was on the ground. And Monte Morris fouled on the fast break. And Jokic went out for a hot second, but then he was back after a couple of minutes. So, I mean, again, y'all, it's that easy. Again, I mean, it's that easy. It's that easy. Sports are like that. So, again, Jokic has been an Iron Man. We hope he continues to be an Iron Man. But, the thing about it is you can't always control everything. So, again, Joel Embiid had a dunk tonight, hyperextended his knee. Who knows how long he's out for, if he's out. Jokic tonight, mild roll of an ankle. Could have been a lot worse, but thankfully he was okay because we definitely needed him. But again, Paul Millsap today, he was in the lineup with Michael Porter Jr. a lot today. And then Facu Campazzo, he was also in the lineup with Isaiah Hartenstein. Isaiah Hartenstein, by the way, played 11 minutes, 2 points, 2 rebounds. He was a +1. Isaiah Hartenstein and Paul Millsap together, don't love that lineup. Facu Campazzo, it was Isaiah Hartenstein, Facu Campazzo, PJ Dozier, Paul Millsap, and I want to say Monte Morris at one point. It just wasn't a good lineup. It just really wasn't. PJ Dozier, 22 minutes, 3 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 of 6 from the field, 1 of 4 from the three-point line, -14. It wasn't a great shooting day today, y'all. The Denver Nuggets shot 45% from the field, 35% from the three-point line, and 35% from the three-point line on 13 of 37 from 3. Only 73%. They only had 11. So, again, this was one of the things about the game, too. The refs were just letting them play. The Nuggets only had 11 free throws, and the Memphis Grizzlies had 8 free throws tonight. Grizzlies had 16 turnovers. That was where the game was won. The Nuggets had 9 turnovers. Both teams had 27 assists. Nuggets had 45 rebounds, 9 offensive rebounds. Grizzlies had 8 offensive rebounds. Both teams had 5 blocks. The Nuggets had 10 steals, and the Nuggets only had 10 fouls. Yeah, the game was won with fast break points tonight, and the game was won with turnovers. The Nuggets were able to get less turnovers, and thus they won the game. So it wasn't a pretty game. I mean, even I wrote it down, like that first quarter was really clunky. The first quarter score was 26-31 Grizzlies. Going into the first half, the close of the half was 53-55 Grizzlies. And then I want to say the Nuggets were up 81-77 going into the fourth quarter. So it wasn't a very good high-scoring game. Both teams were playing good defense. By the way, Monte Morris played spectacular defense on Ja Morant tonight. Spectacular defense on Ja Morant tonight. Ja Morant tonight was 16 points, 9 assists, 5 of 16 from the field, but a -8. -8. Dylan Brooks, 20 points, -12. Really, Brandon Clark was their best player tonight. 20 points, 4 rebounds, 3 blocks and a steal for a +8. So it could have been a lot worse. The Nuggets could have lost this game, and they shouldn't. They were up at 12 at one point in the third quarter. It looked like it was going to be a runaway, but then Jokic went out, and then the gap closed. So this was a good win. They won 5 games in a row. We have Dallas on Sunday. So if the Nuggets can win that game, they can go to 23-15, and Dallas will fall to 19-18, and there'll be a further game in between them, which is really important as Dallas is moving towards one of the easiest schedules in the West. And the Nuggets have one of the easiest schedules the rest of the way as well. So the Denver Nuggets, again, 103 to 102. Jokic put up an MVP performance, take over all day, fourth quarter champion. You already know what it is. Give the ball to Jokic. Everybody clear out the way. Do a two-man game with Jamal Murray and a two-man game with Michael Porter Jr. I'm telling y'all, the two-man game, the DHO, the dribble handoff option with Michael Porter Jr., that's going to be a staple one day. And having a 6'10" with a 7-footer who can both shoot three-pointers at an elite clip, mid-range at an elite clip, and get to the basket and hit free throws, that's going to be a problem. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. This is SwipaCam, SwipaGang. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the logo. Like it. Let me know in the comment section what you think about the game, your thoughts, anticipation for Sunday with Luka Doncic matchup. Let me know. I will see y'all again Sunday. We out.